All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We are not in studio today. No, we are not in studio today. We are on that weekend excursion with the prettiest little girl ever. Well, prettiest woman ever was. Yeah. Let's get it right. Let's make sure we get it right. Let's not mistake things at all. Good morning to everyone out there. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. It is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. And is it tomorrow? Okay, so tomorrow, I will do a show tomorrow morning. I absolutely will. After that, I have to drive from Birmingham, Alabama, out to Atlanta, Georgia, to Hartsville Airport, where evidently the waiting line is 18,000 hours long because we have no TSA agents working. Evidently, Trump, is planning on sending ICE agents there. I'm not sure if it's to arrest people that look like me, people that don't look like me, or anyone else at all. So we'll have to see. But hey, this is not a political show. It is not a political show. This is the Brett Johnson Show. And what do we do? These days, we talk about stamping out corruption, fraud, and child predators in Eastern Kentucky. So good morning to everyone out there. I hope your weekend was outstanding. My weekend was pretty good. I mean, had some company. You know what I mean? Anyway, my weekend was pretty good. Even better than that, Noah Back was arrested. He was arrested on Saturday. Now, that is a win for the good guys. Make no mistake about that. But we have to make sure that this is not a dog and pony show. And hey, I'm broadcasting from my horrible iPhone 17 device. This is the first time I've done it. First time I've... Any news on Noah Back? Is he in jail or out already? Look, I'm sure the son of a bitch is out. I'm positive on that. Because, I mean, he's connected. He was charged with murder. But now here's the thing you guys may not understand. If Noah Back had been charged with any type of child predator stuff, he would be considered a danger to the community. And as such, would probably have been denied bond, bail, whatever you guys want to call it. He was not. So I assume that he was bonded out pretty quickly. Jordan Godsey, we talked over the weekend, and he asked me as well about how long it takes to process one through. So if say you're arrested like I was, they come and get you. They don't notify you they're going to get you. They just come and get you. So they came and got me. When they process you through the county jail, that's anywhere from 4, 8, 10 hours is what that is. That likely did not happen to young Noah Back. Probably his daddy had everything arranged. So what happens is they call him up. Hey, Noah, if you don't mind, we're going to come and get you. And we got to put some handcuffs on you, but we'll put them on in the front. And we won't put them on very tight because we know you're dainty. So we're going to take you, and we already got all the paperwork done. You'll be there a maximum of, an hour. But you don't even have to go to the holding cells. You can just sit out, with the guards and sheriffs, and everything will be just fine. That's probably exactly what happened. So bear that in mind. And I know I've got people commenting, hey, I'm on this damn phone. All right, so I can't really read comments. I was able to pull up one a second ago, but it's a chore. All right. The other thing, and again, this is a complete win. It's a complete win. But we need to make sure it's not a continuing dog and pony show, because it could very well be. I mean, just because this son of a bitch has been arrested does not mean that I think he has to go to the grand jury from here, depending on what, John Hanson, and not the good old Hanson from To Catch a Predator, Eastern Kentucky, Perry County Attorney John Hanson. It's he could if he doesn't want Back actually followed through with anything, he could make that happen. He could. And even then, if they do come through with everything, at that point, it's still Eastern Kentucky. I will tell you now, if there's a trial, my happy ass is going to show up. You're damn right it is. I'm going to try to show up long before that. I guess it's fortuitous that we mentioned happy, because, yes, we're talking about happy Donald Mobelini, or unhappy Donald Mobelini, or asshole happy Donald Mobelini today. Something else. WYMT, we're your mountain television. I wish that you guys would be a little bit more journalistic. I truly do. Why haven't you guys been raising any hell at all about anything that's been going on? Are you bought and paid for as well? Because I know that some of your reporters are from out of area. So what the hell is going on there? I'm talking about the sheriff's office. They edited their statement, their initial statement, to include that Noah Back's child victim was the one driving the ATV. My understanding, and I'm not above saying the deputy's name. I want one more day with that. My understanding is this deputy for the Perry County Sheriff's Office, he told this child that she needed to take the fall. That's my understanding. I also know for a fact that the Perry County Sheriff's Office did no investigation, no forensics, nothing at all on the vehicle. If they would have, they would have noticed, well, it's awfully odd that Noah Back's child victim, her hair clip is in the passenger seat. The video of, him buying alcohol has her in the passenger seat when he puts beer in her lap. And, the seat on that ATV, she's not a very big girl. The seat on that ATV was slid all the way back so that an adult, a fat, ugly, child molesting adult like Noah Back would be the one driving. Evidently, the Perry County Sheriff's Office and good old Joe Engel lacked the investigative skills to notice anything or to take the time to do any real investigation because they turned that ATV back over to Noah Back within 24 hours. Why WYMT has not reported on that, I'm sure I do not know. But we do know, don't we? So, hey, other thing, Scott Blair. It's like I can't get enough of Scott Blair. So evidently Scott Blair, and again, this shit writes itself. It really does. Evidently, Scott Blair has already been hired by ugly Scott Alexander. He's working in the back of the courthouse, which I was of the opinion, well, of course he's working in the back of the courthouse. He probably has to go in the back door after everybody went in his back door. That was my thought. And then I find out, evidently word is that Scott Blair, methamphetamine, hot dog down a hallway, Scott Blair, evidently Scott Blair is Scott Alexander's bodyguard, or maybe, bear with me now, maybe it wasn't a bodyguard. Maybe Scott Blair is Scott Alexander's booty guard. And there was autocorrect that took place. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. Scott Alexander, maybe you'd like to phone in sometime and let us know. Scott Blair could call in too. Although, I would say he would be able to talk. I guess it depends on what he's doing. I don't know. Red Solo Cup. That's right. I hated that song when I was a young man when it came out. These days, I'm like, Red Solo Cup. I feel you up. All right. So, moving right along, guys. I'm going to try to check messages. I'm going to try to check messages real quick here. Exactly. Maybe Scott Blair is Alexander's booty guard. That's what I thought. All right. That's exactly what I thought. Let's see here. Oh, see, it turns comments on there, but I can't maximize my screen. Oh, wait. Wait, come on, listen. Oh, no, I still didn't get to maximize the screen. Damn it to hell. All right, so I got comments where you guys can see the comments coming in, but I can't because I'm on this stupid ass phone. Anyway, let's be a little bit more serious for a minute. All right. Friday, or was it Thursday? Thursday or Friday? I got in the complete education file of one Donald Happy Mobelini. He was principal of Hazard High School, and then he is now mayor of Hazard, Kentucky, which speaks volumes for either how corrupt Hazard, Kentucky is, or for the electorate in Hazard, Kentucky. Maybe both. Maybe both. Let's be honest. Maybe both. Um, a few things. I also have, it's amazing how many lawsuits Donald Happy Mobelini has against him right now, pending right now. Absolutely amazing. There was a senior trip 2017. I'm going to read the facts of the case here in a minute. I think it's 2017. I may be wrong on that. Yeah, 2017. Not senior, but juniors going on a trip. They went to New York, and while there, a young lady, a child, was raped. Okay. I'm going to talk about that today. Before I talk about that, this is why I'm getting much more serious right now. Okay. Um, this girl's a victim. This girl's a victim. This girl has been traumatized. She's been derided. She's been kind of cast out by many of her peers. The reason I say this is a family member reached out to me over the weekend, and they were extremely worried that I was going to say or do something that might cause further harm to that child. I am not going to do that. I'm absolutely not going to do that. Okay. I also want you to understand that when we talk about this, bear in mind this child is a victim. All right. Now there are many assholes out there. There are many assholes out there that say anything from kids will be kids to, well, we don't want to destroy a young man's life to, well, they were all drinking. They were drunk to, she was asking for it. We see that bullshit all the time, that people say shit like this. The victim is never to blame for the crimes which are perpetrated upon them, period. No exception, absolutely zero exception. The victim is never to blame for the crimes which are perpetrated upon them. All right? All right. I'm going to read the facts of the case. I'm not going to joke around. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm going to tell you a couple of things. First of all, anyone out there who thinks that Donald Mobelini, and we're not going to call his piece of shit ass Happy, anyone that thinks that Donald Mobelini is a good guy, you are out of your friggin' mind. You are out of your mind. I've got depositions of witnesses who were students that said that he supplied not only alcohol, but marijuana, which goes against some of the facts of the case here. But let's be honest. The Kentucky Board of Education, sometimes they run a dog and pony show too. Now, I'm going to start reading this. All right. The plaintiff, unnamed, is a former student of the defendant, Hazard Independent Schools. The plaintiff last attended school district during her junior year of high school in the fall of 2017. It gives the address, gives where she is a resident of. At the time of the incident, which gave rise to this complaint, she was 16 years old and a junior at Hazard High School. Gives her date of birth. Tells when she turns 18. The defendant, Hazard City Schools and Hazard Independent School Board of Education, is located in Hazard, Perry County, Kentucky. Defendant may be served through its registered agent. The defendant, Donald Mobelini, at all relevant times was the principal of Hazard High School, located in Hazard, Kentucky. Gives the address. Another defendant, Sheena Breeding, and we're going to be talking about her scum-ridden ass as well today. The defendant, Sheena Breeding, teacher, Hazard High School. The defendant, Luke Glazer, or Glaser, I guess, Glaser, also a teacher at Hazard High School. These were the three chaperones on this school trip where this rape happened. All right. So you have 55 students. For those 55 students, you have one, two, three chaperones: Donald Mobelini, Sheena Breeding, Luke Glaser. All right. Of course, Sheena Breeding is supposed to be the chaperone for the female students to make sure they're not drinking, make sure they're not smoking, make sure they're not partying, and to make sure they're not getting raped. Sheena Breeding. Did she do her job at all? She did. She did. On Thursday, October 26, 2017, at approximately 11:45 p.m., the Hazard High School junior class left Hazard for its junior trip. The plaintiff, this girl, was one of approximately 55 to 60 individuals who went on the trip. Approximately 50 to 55 were Hazard High School students. There were only, this is fact of the case, number 16, there were only 3 adult chaperones on the junior trip: Mobelini, Breeding, and Glacier. The trip was planned for October 26th through the 31st of 2017. First stop, New York City, with the group spending the night at the Meadowlands Plaza in Secaucus, New Jersey, on the nights of Friday, October 27th, and Saturday, October 28th, 2017. On Sunday, October 29th, the group was scheduled to travel to Washington, D.C. and spend the night at the Holiday Inn located at Fort Myer Drive in Arlington. Monday, October 30th, the group was scheduled to conclude its Washington, D.C. museums and head home. The group arrived in New York City during the evening hours of October 27th, 2017. Stated fact number 22. The Hazard High School junior students were allowed to walk around by themselves, unsupervised, for several hours in the New York Times Square area. Now, first of all, that's a problem. That's a problem. All right. Part of, and we're going to read what happened to Happy. Part of Mobelini's job was to oversee children. Children, and we've discussed this several times in the past, children lack the capacity for rational thought. Males especially. Males don't, their brains don't fully develop until about 24 years old. Me, about 41, 42. So chaperone's job to guide, steer, protect those children that they're overseeing. It is not the chaperone's job to have a good time. It is not the chaperone's job to provide them, the kids, with alcohol and marijuana. It's the chaperone's job not to have a good time. You're not going to see New York, you fucking idiots. You're going to protect the children that are going on that trip. If you thought any different, let me dissuade you of that opinion. Number 23. When the students reboarded the bus to travel back to the hotel, their backpacks and individual bags were not searched. Now, I'm not sure how many people have been to Times Square. I have been to Times Square when it was good, when it was bad, and when it got bad again, like right now. Times Square is filled with tourists, and it's filled with predators. People are trying to sell you marijuana. People are trying to scam you out of money. People are trying to sell you women. People are trying to take kids and human traffic them. Times Square has been filled with that during the bad times, during the good times, and during the bad times. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, Donald Mobelini knew that shit. Sheena Breeding knew that shit. Luke Glazer knew that shit. How do I know? Because they're adults, right? They're the chaperones. Their job is to guide, steer, and protect the children on those trips, not to have a good time. Their bags were not searched. Now, one thing I know for a fact, you can get any number of drugs. It's not hard to get any number of drugs at Times Square. It's not hard to get alcohol at Times Square either. All right? It's not. It's not. These kids come back on the bus, the chaperones, for some odd reason, they decided not to search the bags. That, some odd reason, is that Happy Mobelini, I mean, he loves to party with kids. He loves to party with kids. You know, I've got pictures. I'll show those tomorrow on the show. Can't, because I'm on the cell phone today. I've got pictures of children in the back of his car drinking alcohol and partying. That's part of his education file. Think about that for a second. That's part of his education file. Now, here's the other thing. For all you fucks out there who think that Mobelini is a good guy, just because this shit's been going on for a while doesn't make it all right. It doesn't make it normal. What it makes you is an asshole for thinking that it is. Moving right along. Several members of the junior trip had purchased, while on the streets of New York City, alcohol and marijuana. Absolutely possible that Happy or Donald Mobelini gave them alcohol and marijuana, as well as one of the witnesses in the deposition of another lawsuit that he's part of testified Mobelini did that frequently. Yeah, frequently. Thank you, Donald. The students returned to the hotel, and the students who had purchased these items had a party in their room, inviting the others to join. Where are these three trusted chaperones at the city of Hazard, that Hazard High Independent Schools entrusted the safety of those children to on this trip to New York and Washington, D.C.? Where are these adults? Well, one damn thing's for sure, they're certainly not doing their job. That's a fact. The victim did not leave her hotel room on this first night at the hotel, but could hear fellow students walking up and down the halls and doors opening and closing. So this girl, she didn't take part in that. She didn't take part in that. That's something else that we need to understand. Not all of these children were of the Mobelinian, environment of partying, drinking, smoking, and having that kind of time. This child was not like that. This child was not like that. The next day, Saturday, October 28th, the group left the hotel to return to New York City for sightseeing. One of the junior students who had partied the night before was not on time to return to New York City, and Mobelini had to go wake him up because I guess he had smoked too much, drank too much, and Mobelini, obviously, let's be honest, it's not like you wouldn't know what was going on. Even if your stupid Mobelini ass didn't know the kids were partying, and you did. Even if you didn't know, you'd know when you walked in that guy's room, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'd know because the alcohol's there. Smells like fucking pot. You'd know. But you didn't say anything because you're Donald Mobelini. You're the guy that gives alcohol and marijuana to children, that lets children party in the back of his car, that lets male children grind on him and give him lap dances, and then has the audacity to call it tradition. That's you. That's you. And again, anyone who supports this guy, who thinks he's a good guy, you are nothing but an asshole right now. That's all you are. That's all you're ever going to be. The junior students were again left unsupervised. Imagine that. As they walked once again through Times Square. Again, when the students reboarded, their bags and individual bags were once again not searched because, hey, if we don't look, we can't find anything. If we can't find anything, we ain't got to do nothing. We ain't got to do nothing. So, hey, we ain't going to look. That's who we entrust the care of the children in Hazard to. Several members of the group again purchased alcohol. No shit. The initial travel plan had called for the group to arrive back at the hotel in New Jersey by midnight. They did not arrive back until 1 a.m. The victim initially remained in her room, but could hear the students walking up and down the halls and the doors opening and closing. This is number 34, she received a text message from a fellow student asking her to come down to one of the rooms and drink with them. She went. When she entered the room, more than 12 of her fellow students were in a single hotel room drinking alcohol. Again, no chaperones. The principal of Hazard High School, who later was elected. And I got to be honest with you guys. What the actual fuck? He was principal of Hazard High School. All that bullshit comes out. People knew about the rape. They knew about a rape in the Bahamas as well. They knew about it. It was being whispered about. People were actually talking about it. And yet, Hazard elects this son of a bitch as mayor. What in the world? I mean, the people who voted for him, what are you thinking? Do you not have children? Do you not give a damn about this? Is it just because his nickname is Happy? I don't know. It appeared to the victim that they were drinking some type of vodka. It had black writing on the bottle and mixing it with Mountain Dew and hotel cups. Got to be honest with you, Mountain Dew is bad enough on its own. To throw vodka into the mix, this is why, I said I wasn't going to joke, but this is why children are not allowed to drink. They mix Mountain Dew with vodka. They don't have that palate yet. Again, children can't make rational decisions. They mix Mountain Dew with vodka. You, Happy, should be ashamed of yourself. Number 37, the students were loud and doors were opening and closing and students were walking up and down the halls. Now, this is important. The students were loud, the doors were opening and closing. The victim said she had heard it the night before. She hears it that night as well. For some odd reason, I guess that the three chaperones, Luke Glacier, Sheena, don't forget Sheena Breeding, and Donald Mobelini, I guess they have selective hearing. Or maybe they had some, noise canceling headphones on. Or maybe they just didn't give a flying fuck about the kids. And they were, let them party, let them go. They're all right. They're just kids. Let them get off some steam. Let them rape somebody. Yeah. Donald probably said, I don't care just as long as I can get me a lap dance from one of them boys. That's all I want. That's all I ever want. If I get me a lap dance, I'm good to go. That's Donald. That's your mayor. That's your mayor. That's your fucking mayor. Number 38, the students were getting ice from the vending machine located down the hall from the room where the 12 students were located. The victim took several drinks of alcohol. At some point between 4 and 5 a.m., she was walked to her room by a fellow junior male student and was physically and sexually assaulted. between 4 and 5 a.m., guy walks her to the room. As she gets to her room, I guess he grabs her, assaults her, and rapes her. And during none of this time have the chaperones done their job. I went on a senior trip to not a senior, but it was a theater trip to Louisville, Kentucky. And the hotel that we were staying at that night, Ric Flair was there, Sting was there, the Ultimate Warrior was there. All these professional wrestlers were staying there that night. And I got to meet Ric Flair as we were checking in and everything. And big man, big gigantic hands, this guy. And there were only 3 of us that went on this trip. And our chaperone was a woman, the first decent human being that I ever met in my life. Carol Combs at Dos Combs High School. And this woman, you could not ask for a better chaperone. You could not. We were, that night that they had invited us, the wrestlers like, come on down to this floor, we'll party. And by God, we were all 3 of us wanting to go. We were. And I am positive we would have had the most fun ever. Even to this day, I'm 56 years old. I am positive we would have had the most fun ever. But Carol Combs sat right in our room that whole goddamn night. And you know why? Because she was entrusted with the care of the children that were in her charge. And she took that seriously. She took that seriously. She meant to do her job. And by God, she did. And I love the hell out of that woman. For these 3 chaperones to not do anything, to not care that the kids were drinking and smoking and partying, and one was raping another child. There is no punishment that is too extreme for those 3. Luke Glaser, Sheena Breeding, Don Mobelini. We'll keep going. During the assault, the girl, the victim, she told him to stop. He did. At no time, this is number 42, at no time after the return to the hotel, 1 a.m., did the chaperones, Mobelini, Breeding, and Glaser, check on the students in their care, despite the noise going on in the students' room in the hallway. These 3 chaperones, same hallway. They heard, they were aware of what was going on. Donald Mobelini, the principal of Hazard High School, ultimately, his authority. You guys have nothing. If his sorry ass was too lazy to go check and see what was going on, he should have told the other 2, hey, you 2 son of a bitches, go down and see what the hell's going on. He didn't. None of the 3 chaperones gave a damn about the children that were in their care. None of them care. None of them care. The girl, you're going to love this. The girl reported, this is number 43. The girl reported the assault the following day to defendant Mobelini. Now, here's a fact. Here's a fact. When any crime happens, especially a violent crime, especially a violent sexual crime, especially a rape, when a rape happens, who are you supposed to contact? Now, she's a child. She doesn't know this. She goes to tell the adult that's in charge, hey, I was raped. At that point in time, what is he supposed to do? Come on, it's not Jeopardy. It doesn't take all day to come up with that answer. Do, 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 do. Call New Jersey, please. Does Mobelini do that? No, he doesn't. Why doesn't Mobelini do it? Let's be honest. It's not to protect the children. Mm-mm. 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 Donald Mobelini doesn't report that to the cops because that's Donald Mobelini's ass. That's those chaperones' ass. That's those adults' asses that were in charge of steering, guiding, and protecting the children that were in their charge. That's why Donald Mobelini doesn't call the cops. That's the only reason Donald Mobelini doesn't call the cops. Number 44. After reporting the assault, numerous offensive comments were made by the children. Oh no. Oh no. No. Let's not get that twisted. Numerous offensive comments were made by the adult chaperones. Holy fuck. The victim, this is one of the adult chaperones. The victim was told it was her fault. Hey, I'm sorry, child, but it's your fault you were raped. You asked for it. It's your fault. This isn't his fault. No, this is your fault this is happening to you. This is your fault you were assaulted. This is your fault you were raped. This is your fault. It's not our fault. It's not his fault. It's not. It's all your fault. That's what she was told. Another comment. You'll love this one. She was told she should not file charges as it would go on the male student's permanent record. You know, hey, you can't file charges. You can't tell anybody. If you do, it would destroy his life. He wouldn't then be able to go on and rape anyone else. You can't do this. Think of the children. No, not you, child. No, we're not thinking about you. Remember, it's your fault. Remember that it's your fault. No, this is your fault. But if you say anything, if you file charges, a child is going to be harmed. No, we don't give a fuck that you've been harmed. We care about him. But that's not really what's going on, is it? Mm-mm. They care about themselves because at this point, their asses are in trouble. That's exactly what's going on at this point. Continuing on, Donald Mobelini, Sheena Breeding, Luke Glazer. The victim was told by a chaperone that he didn't believe that she was telling the truth. Now, which chaperone do you think said that? You want to take a guess? He's mayor. He's mayor. He's mayor. You know, I got to tell you, I see that you're distraught. I see that. I know what you're telling me. I know what you're telling me. I do. I see that you're distraught. But I know that you all were partying last night. And I got to be honest with you. I just, we already know this is your fault. We know that. And I just don't feel that you're telling me the truth. I think that you did this. I think if anything happened, I'm not saying anything happened, but I think if anything happened, you did this. I don't think he did anything at all. So that's what she was told. She was told by more than one chaperone that they needed a cigarette for the stress that she was causing. Think about that for a second. This child has been raped between the hours of 4 and 5 a.m. Not 4 hours later, probably a lot less than that. What mental state is this child in? Distraught, crying, scared, anxiety, stress. She's reaching out for someone because her parents aren't there. She's reaching out to the only adults that she is able to reach out to, people who are supposed to protect her, to console her, to tell her, hey, we're going to take care of this. You are going to be all right. We are so sorry. But that's not what happens. The adults tell her, hey, you're causing me so much stress. I got to go smoke. I don't want to hear anymore. You just take that, go off someplace else. That's what the adults are telling this child who has just been raped. She was told, you'll love this, by chaperones. She was told that she was young, that she was going to screw up. Hey, yeah, I know it's your fault. You know it's your fault. We've told you that. We're the adults. We know what we're talking about. It's your fault. It's okay, though. You're young. You're going to screw up. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Now, what's actually going on there? Like I said, this is the chaperones doing a little CYA. Cover your ass. Because, by God, they are in trouble. They are in a lot of trouble. Real quick. All right? How do you do that? Well, the way you do that, you're dealing with a child who lacks the capacity for rational thought. They've just been raped. An adult who's just been raped. By God, they're fucking nuts, crazy already. Stressed, anxiety, hurt, trauma. But for a child, for that to happen to, through the roof, through the roof. So what happens is the chaperones mentally, psychologically beat this child into submission. That's exactly what happens. It's your fault. You're going to destroy another child's life. I don't believe you. I need a cigarette. You're causing me too much stress. It's okay. You're young. You're going to make mistakes, even though it's your fault you were raped. That line, and there was much more than that said to her. All that, what that equates to is this child who is now traumatized already starts to, because the adults are saying this, she starts to move more inward. All right. Because she no longer has a safety net, a support group. That's what happens. And I want you to bear in mind, too, that these comments were not in isolation. They were not in isolation. They were made in front of other students. The adults knew this. So the adults knew that peer pressure, oh yeah, was going to follow. And they were fine with that because they needed to cover their ass. Donald Mobelini, Sheena breeding. Did I say that again? Sheena breeding. Let's think about that for a second. The female chaperone never checked on her female charges at all. At all. The two students were also brought into the same room by one of the chaperones and made to confront each other. Let me get this straight. So this dude rapes this girl. And then one of the chaperones, probably Donald, one of the chaperones, what we'll do is we'll get them both together and they can talk it out. So here the dude is, just raped her. She's traumatized, hurt physically and sexually assaulted. And the chaperone says the best thing we could possibly do is to put them in the same room with each other. Let them talk it out. Are you out of your goddamn mind? This is who we entrust the children of Hazard, Kentucky to. This is the mayor that the electorate says needs to lead the city. Think about that for a second. All right, moving right along. Remember I said these comments were not made in isolation. These comments were made in front of other children. On the bus, the victim sat in the front near the chaperones because even though they're not doing their job, they're blaming her because they know their asses are in trouble. Even though they're not doing their job, they're still who she considers are the people that are supposed to protect her. So she sits as close to them as she possibly can, trying to get away from her rapist. That's still no cops have been called because, hey, we're going to call the cops. That's our career right the fuck there. So, and I don't see the comments. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish I did today because I'd be responding to you guys. I'll be back on the regular thing tomorrow. But I wanted to do this today because this shit's important. She sat near the chaperones. The rapist, let's call him what he is. The rapist sat in the back with his friends. And his friends were chanting, free his name, free his name, free his name, free the rapist, free the rapist, free the rapist, free the rapist, over and over and over and over again. Chaperones, did they hear it? Yeah. Yeah. They heard it. The chaperones didn't say anything. Any idea why? Oh, I think you're getting it now. The reason why the chaperones didn't say anything is they needed that rape victim, that child, to keep her goddamn mouth shut. That's exactly why the chaperones didn't say anything. They wanted it to happen. They needed it to happen. Because if she goes home and she starts opening her mouth, we could be in a lot of trouble. And you can bet your shiny asses that all three of those chaperones had discussed just that before they got on that goddamn bus. Moving right along. The students arrived home October 31st. The victim's mom took her to a hospital because that's exactly, by God, what should have happened when she told Donald Mobelini that she had been raped. Cops, hospital, do the right goddamn thing. Period. No question. Don't give a flying fuck about anything else on this planet. Cops, hospital, do the right fucking thing. Period. Nope, didn't happen. Donald's got to protect his ass. Sheena's got to protect her ass. Luke's got to protect his ass. This was the first time. This is number 48. And here's the good thing. I'm going to put these files where everyone can download them and read them because they're public information, Donald. Everyone's going to have access to this. You can bet your shiny, bald-headed ass on that one. This was the first time that the victim had received medical attention since the assault. First time. First time. New Jersey, raped. Nope. Let's go on home. You kids in the back, keep screaming that. Maybe we can beat her ass down enough that she doesn't say anything to anybody. That's what happened. Yeah, these files, Dropbox, Google Drive, I'm going to put them all kinds of places so that I'm going to share it all. I see a bit of a comment come through. Share it. Oh yeah, yeah, it's going up. You're goddamn right, it's going up. I told you it was your ass today. The victim began immediate counseling at the Rising Center in Hazard, Kentucky. She continues her counseling sessions. The family member that reached out to me over the weekend told me that this girl, this rape victim, she was still going through hell today. And this family member, she was really worried that I was going to say or do something that was going to cause that child more harm. And I was adamant that I was not going to do that. It is never the fault of a victim that a crime is perpetrated upon them. It is always the fault of the criminal. Where we have a child in this case. Nothing that she did, nothing caused her to be raped. Nothing. The trauma that she's still undergoing today is something that I hope it won't affect her life the rest of her life, but yeah. For people in the county, think about that for a second. This is a girl. She's raped. The principal of the high school, who the student body fucking loves, it's her fault. You're going to destroy this child's life if you file charges. She's told all this by the chaperones, who failed to protect her, who not only failed to protect her, but then helped lay more trauma at her doorstep by the way that they responded to what happened. And then this son of a bitch, Donald Mobelini, goes on to be mayor of Hazard, Kentucky, corrupt piece of shit that he is. Think about what that does for a second to that victim. I don't even have to say anything, right? I don't have to say anything. She initially sought and received an order preventing the male student from being in the same general area. The parties later agreed to terms of this order. Now, I'm going to end the show in a minute. That's just part. Take these glasses. That's just part of Donald Mobelini's file. He agreed. He gave up. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I told you that a lot of this stuff is a dog and pony show. It is. It is. It absolutely is. He, part of the file, and we'll talk about him not being allowed around children. Oh, did I mention that? Yeah. We'll talk about that tomorrow. It's your week, Donald. It's your week, Sheena Breeding. Why do I say Sheena Breeding so much? Because she was the female chaperone It was her job to protect the female students. It was overall all of their jobs. But the female students were in her charge. She doesn't do a fucking thing. The overseer, Donald Mobelini, who likes to give marijuana and alcohol to students, let them party in the back of his car, blame a child for being raped, and loves it when male kids grind on his crotch. You know, if I had to ask you anything, Donald, I'd ask you, does that feel good? When those children were grinding on your crotch? Do you like that? The file has, he's not supposed to be around kids. Think about that. He's not supposed to be around kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk about that tomorrow. Um, there's something very wrong in Hazard, Kentucky, in Perry County, Kentucky, and in Eastern Kentucky. Something very wrong. We need to, I'm very proud of what we've done so far, and there's still a hell of a lot of work to do in this back case. I'm very proud of what Eastern Kentucky has done. We were a voice, and we stood up, and we demanded justice, and that forced, make no mistake about it, that forced Joe Engel and the Perry County attorney to act. Well, by God, we got to charge somebody with something. But evidently, the child driver is still being blamed, for driving. She wasn't driving. She wasn't driving. She wasn't driving. Here we've got the mayor of Hazard, Kentucky, pure piece of shit. No other way to put it. And, I had somebody contact me. They said that one of the Hazard PDs, uh, he had noticed that she was a follower of mine on Facebook. So he defriended her. Only thing I'm doing is telling the truth. That's all I'm doing. But I'm telling it. And that's enough. I going through that and seeing the harm that was caused to this child, seeing the adults who didn't give a damn. There's just no punishment harsh enough. There's no punishment harsh enough for that. Guys, I love y'all. I do. I love y'all. I think we're doing a good job. I really do. I think we're doing a good job. I think we're going to get a lot of stuff accomplished. I would say that what we need to do more than anything is understand the harm that has been caused not only to this child, not only to the victims of Noah Back, not only to those who have been victimized by child predators and who have never had the opportunity or the ability or the courage to speak up because they've been beaten down, much like this girl was on this school trip. I would say that the victims of Eastern Kentucky as a whole, who have been victimized by those that are in power, that are corrupt, that only want power and money, more power and money. I think that what's most important for all of us is to just consider these victims. If we really start to understand the damage that's been caused, we will do the right damn thing. I promise you that. We will do the right damn thing. That's just being a human being. That's all that is. That's all it is. Donald Mobelini is not a good person. Just because his ass smiles all the time, just because he gave, you may have been one of his students and he gave you some marijuana and some alcohol or let you bring it into school, as he fucking did, lets you bring it into school just because he didn't tell on you, doesn't make him a good guy. It makes him a bad guy. It makes him a bad guy. That's all there is to that. This makes him a horrible human being. That's all it is. He's a horrible, horrible human being. Sheena Breeding, you're a monster as well. And Luke Glazer, you piece of shit. I swear to God, I don't know how you guys can stand to walk out in public. I'm going to Lithuania. Tomorrow morning, Tuesday, I'm going to do the show live again. As soon as that's over, I'm driving to Atlanta, catch a flight to Vilnius, Lithuania, speaking for Visa. And so, yeah, it turns out that's how I make money. I'm a public speaker, cybercrime expert. I mean, I created a lot of it. I guess I'm an expert on it. Flying to Lithuania. I return Friday, so you won't see a live show Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I will make updates on Facebook, on YouTube. I will try to broadcast that live. I don't know how the internet connection is there. If I can, I will. There's like a 7-8 hour difference there. I will try to do that. I am going to, if I have time tomorrow, I'm going to upload these files to where the people of Perry County, Eastern Kentucky, and anyone who gives a damn can read about this son of a bitch, Donald Mobelini. That's exactly what I'm going to do. They're public, Donald. They're public. Anybody can request them. Even a former United States most wanted cyber criminal like moi. Even this son of a bitch right here can request them. And I did. You know the best thing about it, Donald? I didn't have to pay a thing for them. They sent them to me for free. They did. So I get to roast your ass around that virtual campfire as I sing Kumbaya fucking ah and let everyone know and see the evidence. That way I don't have to share it on screen. I can just have my happy smiling face the entire time. Share so everyone can see. I don't like you. I don't like you at all. Don't know you. Don't want to know you. Any law enforcement officer that's got a problem with me up here telling the truth, fuck you. Honestly, do your damn job. Do your damn job. That's all I got to say to you. People of Hazard, Kentucky, trying to protect this mayor? What are you thinking? You don't protect people who facilitate the rape of a child. You don't protect people who give marijuana and alcohol to children. You don't protect people who blame a child rape victim for being raped. It's unconscionable. It's unconscionable. We want to talk about Noah Back. That's just as bad, if not worse, because he was the adult. He was the man in charge. He allowed it to happen. He didn't do anything about it. He tried to cover his ass. We'll talk more tomorrow. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. This is what we do. We do care. We do not allow this to happen. When this happens, we do something about it. We are Eastern Kentucky. We do stand tall. We are a proud people. And we will do the right damn thing. Until tomorrow, take care.